Hi everybody, it's Andrew Hutchings here, wearing my nice short shorts that you can't really, oh, you can kind of see them. And I am not a doctor, and I am not giving medical advice, but I was watching my videos with some friends of mine, and I was thinking, like, yes, steroids are really bad. I don't use them, I don't recommend you use them. But some certain friends of mine are thinking about using them, and I had to, as we were watching the videos, go, well, and to a lot of parts of my videos about why you don't want to use steroids. Because while everything I said is true, I did leave some stuff out. So, when it comes to steroids, they're very unhealthy, but a lot of the negative side effects can be managed and counteracted to varying degrees. For example, the big one, which is how it alters your cholesterol levels, you can mitigate that with exercise and diet. Now, you can't completely get rid of the effect it does. It's still going to really raise your bad cholesterol, lower your good cholesterol. Bad cholesterol is LDL, good cholesterol is HDL. And you want a lot of good cholesterol and not very much bad cholesterol. As they get closer to here, you get higher risk of heart attack or stroke. And steroids bring them. The thing is, eating healthy and exercise brings them better. So, if you wanted to avoid, or you can't fully avoid it, but if you wanted to minimize that when you're on steroids, you would cut out things that have lots of bad fats, like sweets and French fries and hamburgers. And even though I love steak and it's not bad for you, if I were to take steroids, I would not eat steak because that also has a lot of cholesterol. And you want to maximize your omega-3s and your good fats. So lots of fish, lots of nuts. But of course, nuts can make you gain weight if you eat a lot of them. I wouldn't worry about it because you're not going to eat too many nuts probably. I mean, I eat lots of nuts, and I used to eat even more when I was younger. I would bring a whole Ziploc bag with me to school. But yeah, nuts are very calorie dense, but if you were going to use steroids and you want to help your cholesterol, nuts, fish, and other foods that have lots of good fats. And exercise, cardiovascular exercise. I keep looking over here, but my camera's over here. So yes, you want to be doing lots of running, biking, swimming. The weightlifting, it helps, but it's not so big like the cardiovascular stuff. What else? So I think that's mostly it for the blood pressure. I mean, you could also take some garlic, it's cardioprotective, and add in some CoQ10, because why not? That's also going to be good for your liver, and good for your whole body in general. Let's get to the liver since I mentioned that. The liver, a lot of steroids are very harmful on the liver, not just the oral ones, but also the injectable kind. A good example is nandrolone. Nandrolone has been shown to cause blood-filled cysts in your liver. Not good. Imagine like the worst acne you've ever seen, some big old thing that's protruding out of your face, and like you squeeze it and stuff comes out of it. Now imagine if that was blood and bigger and in your liver, inside of you, on your valuable organ, which is supposed to detoxify your body from all the crap. It's not good. I mean, I know that it doesn't necessarily harm the functioning of your face when it's on your face, but it probably harms the functioning of your liver. So yes, you get blood-filled cysts. It's been shown from nandrolone, DECA. But it also has been shown that if you consume whey protein powder, that you don't get the blood-filled cysts, or at least that you don't get very much of them. Also that in general, you get less liver damage with protein powder, whey protein powder. Another thing is CoQ10, ubiquinol, and ubiquinone, whatever form you want to take. Not in I mean, maybe there are some studies with steroids, but in studies that don't involve steroids, CoQ10 has been shown to help reverse liver damage. Now, that's kind of a feels weird saying help reverse liver damage, or I mean, I guess I phrased it well, helps reverse liver damage, because the liver heals on its own pretty well. So if someone claims that something makes your liver heal, well, your liver can already heal, but something can help it to heal better. So yeah, CoQ10 helps it heal. That's good. Also, after you take the steroids, or you could try while you're on them, take large doses of choline. Choline helps with fatty liver. Don't remember exactly how it helps, because even though I'm not that old, I learned a lot of stuff when I was younger. I don't remember all the details of everything. I keep learning more and more, but you can only store so much in your brain, and the longer it's been since you learned something, the less details you remember. This is an important life skill, because you can't just be one of these memorizer people, and they piss me off because they can get better grades than you, but they can't do anything. All they can do is repeat it word for word how they read it, but that it doesn't help you to remember every single word in it, the same order, and be able to A, B, C, D, E, F, yeah. If you don't incorporate the useful stuff into your brain so that you can use it in useful ways, it doesn't do you any good. So when it comes to things like the choline in the liver, yes, I could have memorized every single detail and be able to recite it. But what it comes down to is, and this is a more simple example because it doesn't take much knowing to know that if you take it, it's good for you. But that's what it really matters. You take it, it's good for fatty liver. That's all you need to know. Now, if you were trying to make a drug that's similar to it that works better, yes, I would look back into it, read more about it, remember everything, and work on designing the new drug. But it's like everything in life. You want to hold on to the important parts and be able to use them. That's what I'm really good at, is I learn a ton of stuff. I used to know all the details, but I hold on to all the important parts so that I'm able to incorporate things in useful ways into my life or into other people's lives or whatever. So yes, I covered the liver. What else do we get to? High blood pressure and cardiovascular stuff, which also ties into the kidneys, because if you have too high a blood pressure, you're forcing too much through the kidneys, and the kidneys are like filters, and if you push too much through, it damages them, and you don't want that. So steroids do cause some steroids cause high blood pressure. The aromatizable ones typically cause it. Now, some non-aromatizable steroids can still cause high blood pressure, but we'll not get into that. The world's a complicated thing. You gotta focus on certain things. Sorry, I'm tired tonight and thinking in different ways. And so yeah, when it comes to the blood pressure, you can control it largely by controlling the aromatization. So you limit how much estrogen you have, and you limit the blood pressure to a large degree. Now, if the steroids are causing high blood pressure through more stimulant type activity, it's similar as if you had stress that makes your blood pressure go up. Now, when you're stressed, your blood pressure goes up, but it's not because you have plaque in your arteries that's making your blood pressure go up. It's because the walls are constricting from sympathetic stimulation and other stimulation, and basically it's just how adrenaline works. So if you can kill that stimulation that makes them constrict, you can get them to relax again and lower your blood pressure. An easy way to do that would be magnesium, but you gotta have it in a bioavailable form, like magnesium glycinate. That's what I always stick to. And also glycine is a good skeletal muscle relaxant, but in the dosage that's in the magnesium glycinate, it's probably not high enough to really do much. That's another thing you gotta know about for life. A lot of things may do something, but if the dosage isn't high enough, it doesn't matter. So, now let's say the glycinate and the magnesium. Yes, glycine really relaxes the muscles well. And you may find a supplement that says it has glycine in it, it's going to relax your muscles. But if the dosage is 1/1000th of what it needs to be, it means it doesn't do anything. You could have the cure for cancer, but if you need this much of it, and you only have that much of it, it's, it's not going to work. That's like with a lot of dietary supplements. They claim that it's going to do X, Y, and Z, that this herb has been shown to do all these things. Well, usually that's at these sky-high levels, and you're only getting like micro amounts of it. So yeah, the magnesium is good for lowering the blood pressure. I mean, if you really needed to, like, I don't know which steroids would do this. Maybe something like trenbolone would give you so much anxiety that you need to take a little bit of a central nervous system depressant. Not that I recommend you use drugs, but if you had to and you went to your doctor and you got something like Valium in micro little bits to help keep the stimulation down. What else? Also, if I don't know why you wouldn't just limit the aromatization and control your estrogen, but if for some reason you couldn't control the estrogen, or I don't know what, you could also try to limit the water directly with diuretics. And actually, that's why the estrogen causes high blood pressure. I don't think I said this, but estrogen makes you hold on to water. The more water that's in your blood, the more space it takes up. So if you have more space in the same thing, it's more pressure. So you can control that directly with the diuretic. Now, I don't recommend diuretics. They're not good for you. They disrupt your ion balance in your body. It can lead to all sorts of problems. And it's just not healthy to be dehydrated, and it doesn't make sense instead of just control the estrogen. So what else with steroids? I think I covered the big ones. Now, of course, your balls, they do always, no matter, they do always 99% of the time, not even that, but by themselves, they do always make your balls stop working. And they shrink up and they atrophy and bad stuff happens. But that can be counteracted with certain other things. Like while you're taking the steroids, you could take HCG like once a week or every other day or whatever, however you're going to do it. I'm not an expert on HCG, but it sends a signal to your balls to start working again. So if you wanted to take steroids, but you did not want your balls to shrink up too much, they're going to be, as you take the steroids, they're going to be going down in their activity. But then you take the HCG and they come back up, and then they start going back down again. But then you take the HCG and they come back up, and then they start going down. And you want to keep them in the activity range, because once they go down to, let's say this is 0, it's not good. It's harder for them to get back up, and once it's completely 0, the bad stuff is really happening a lot more. But as long as it's above 0 and there's some activity going on, that's very helpful. And then when you stop taking steroids, your balls are not going to work well. Maybe I should call them testicles and be more scientific. But that can also be overcome, and it is largely overcome in modern bodybuilding and sports. People to do what's called a post-cycle therapy. They either take aromatase inhibitors, which I was touching on for the blood pressure that control estrogen, or they take what are called SERMs, selective estrogen receptor modulators, which just block estrogen at the receptor where it binds in your brain and where it binds in your nipples and other tissues. They both lead to the same thing, although they work different. They cause basically, if your brain senses estrogen, it thinks it has enough if it senses the right amount of estrogen, it thinks it has the right amount of testosterone. But if it senses too little estrogen, because remember, testosterone turns into estrogen. If you have testosterone, it turns into estrogen, estrogen goes up. Now, if you have low estrogen, your body assumes that you have low testosterone, and it will push up the testosterone to get more estrogen. The problem is that if you say you took a whole bunch of testosterone or Dianabol or whatever, and by the time you're done taking it, here's your testosterone and here's your estrogen. Now, your body sees this much estrogen, and it thinks it has plenty of testosterone, even though the testosterone's down here. So what you have to do is you either block it from seeing this estrogen, or you get this estrogen to go away. But either way, you either make it disappear, you block it from being visible, or you slowly lower it. But once the estrogen is low or can't be sensed, then your body goes, oh, I need to make more testosterone to get that estrogen back up. And it starts turning your balls back on, making more testosterone, going into estrogen, and they go up. Anything more important to say about that? You could have a rebound off of the stuff to do that. Like if you took the SERM. The problem with SERMs and why I think that I don't quite see why people are so into them versus aromatase inhibitors. I know that they do work better. They're stronger. They're shown to increase testosterone, like in healthy men, by like 250%, something around there, while the aromatase inhibitors only increase it like 50 to 60%. The problem is, so say you're healthy and your testosterone's here, estrogen's here. Now this isn't how it is in reality. In reality, testosterone is always higher than estrogen in a man, but for the sake of the video, they're here. They're both at the right levels. These are the right levels for both of them. You take that SERM, and your body can't see this. This is invisible. So it starts making more testosterone, and the estrogen keeps going up. But your body can't see the estrogen, so they both keep going up. The problem is, now you have a lot of estrogen. But if you take the aromatase inhibitor, it makes this go down, and then your body increases this to get this to go back up. And then you end up with like normal estrogen levels, or sometimes even higher, believe it or not, but you end up with higher testosterone. So you have good, healthy, normal estrogen levels with higher testosterone versus high of both of them. Now, personally, I wouldn't want lots of estrogen in my body, even if it's not binding. Now, I don't know if SERMs prevent it from binding to the prostate, for example, but if they don't, it could induce prostate cancer for a man. Now, I'm not saying it's going to cause it tomorrow or right now or in a month from now, but the way the body works is you can activate certain things, and once it's activated for the rest of your life. Like, once you induce the formation of breast tissue in a male, it's always there. It's always... Now, it can be turned off. Things can be turned off, but you can activate some things in the human body that just don't tend to get turned back off. Like, cancer is one of those things. That's why it's cancer, because it doesn't turn back off. It doesn't stop. And you don't want to activate prostate cancer in a man. But coming back to when you're done taking the steroids, now if you end your steroid cycle and your testosterone's here and your estrogen's here, and then you take the SERM, it's raising your testosterone, but so is your estrogen. So then you come off the SERM and your body sees estrogen way up here, and it wants to lower it so it makes less testosterone to get the estrogen back down. Whereas if you took the aromatase inhibitor, although it's not going to work as good and as fast, it's going to be here, and then your estrogen's going to be down, so then it's going to increase your testosterone to get your estrogen back to normal. So then when you're done taking it, it doesn't get the signal from the estrogen to make less testosterone. Now, the testosterone does give its own signal to the brain, to a different part of the brain, to make less testosterone. So the testosterone is going to come back down. But at least you didn't have that really high estrogen pushing it down even more than it needed to go down. Now, maybe I shouldn't give my expert advice for free on the internet, and maybe I'm not an expert. But when people ask me for advice, if they're going to take steroids, because I am a smart, scientific, medical person, although I'm not a doctor, I say that it makes the most sense to finish off their steroid cycles with a non-aromatizable steroid. That way they've already let the estrogen clear their body. That way when they end it, their estrogen's already down here, and their body can sense the low estrogen, and it wants to get it higher and raise the testosterone back up. Now, that's not always enough to get your body kicking things back into gear, and that's why people take the SERMs. But yeah, you gotta think with your brain and strategize, just like everything in life. What other health effects? Acne, I don't know what you're gonna do about that. Oh yeah, I forgot, with the cholesterol, besides just trying to improve it, cholesterol, it's been shown that it largely bounces back after cessation of steroids. And now it does take a few months, typically, but, so this is your good cholesterol, this is your bad cholesterol. Steroids make good go down, bad go up. Now after you're done taking them, they do go back closer to normal. Now, most studies don't show them going back completely to normal. They show them still messed up, but not as messed up as when you're on the steroids. And steroids do cause direct cardiac damage. Now, I don't even remember all the different ways, but they do. They also cause brain damage and brain changes. Now, I don't know how you would avoid those. I don't think it causes them through oxidative damage, but maybe that's part of it. So antioxidants, you want to get your water soluble and your fat soluble. It's probably going to help, but I don't think most of the damage is caused that way. Some of it may also be excitotoxicity. Once again, I don't know if that's the main cause. I don't remember how it causes the damage. So you could cover your excitotoxicity with the magnesium, which also is good for your blood pressure. Now, I'm not saying you can cover all the excitotoxicity because magnesium is very weak, but it certainly would help out a little bit. And you don't want to take other things that would really help out, because other things that would really help out are bad drugs like PCP or ketamine, diazopilocane, I can never remember that name. It's used in lots of medical studies from the old days. It's what they test on the receptors and then they compare other things to it. But yeah, steroids are very bad for you, but they don't have to be as bad as they are. Measures can be taken to help them be less bad for you. But I'm not a doctor, so who knows? Maybe I'm just making all this stuff up, or maybe I'm crazy. So if you're gonna do steroids, be smart, do your own research, spend a few years. That may sound like a long time, but I mean, I always hope that I reach young people, because I think it's important for young people, especially teenagers, when life's very hectic when you're a teenager and your hormones are all going on and you haven't been alive very long and you can't make good decisions because your brain's not fully formed. It may seem like forever, but just research for a couple years, a few years, and ask your doctor. But your doctor's probably not going to want to give you any useful, helpful advice, because he's just going to say, no, don't take it. Why are you asking me about that? Or, yeah, doctors aren't always the most helpful, but ask your doctor, because I'm not a doctor. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me, because I have lots of knowledge and information in my head, but it's all in there, and I don't always think about what to pull out and give, and then sometimes I have to start pulling it out to remember everything, because I don't think about this stuff on an everyday basis. Like I said, I was watching my videos with my friends that are thinking about steroids, and I didn't want to freak them out too much. I mean, they're really unhealthy, but I did tell them it's not quite as bad as I made them out to be in my videos, but they are really, really bad. Like, be healthy, exercise, don't take steroids, and get your cardio in. Eat healthy. You don't want to incorporate bad fats into your body. And carbohydrates, believe it or not, some people think carbohydrates are just sugar. They think, oh yeah, it's just sugar, it just turns into sugar. No, carbohydrates are also incorporated into your cells. Now, they do just turn into sugar for energy, slower than simple sugar, like non-carbohydrate sugars, sugar monomers or dimers or whatever. But yeah, carbohydrates are also incorporated into your cells. When you eat fruit, you're getting all the vitamins and nutrients. They're in different bioforms, because it's not just in your pill with the chemical by itself. Like, they're bound to other things, and they have carbohydrates in the fruits, and you get a lot of stuff. Plus, you get the fiber, and it is very different from a vitamin. But I do take vitamins, and this video is going on. So hopefully you like the I mean, it was going on, now it's stopping, because I should stop. But I hope you like that information. And like I said, ask me questions, give me ideas, and please like and subscribe.